What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. As you can see, of course, we got Matt back on the left of me over there. And then under us, we have 2023 Big Ten champ at 197 pounds, Silas Allred from Nebraska. Silas, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Of
excited.
course, man. Of course. No problem, man. And before we get into it, we just want to touch quickly. Want to send a quick prayer up to Peyton. We know Peyton Robb of Nebraska right now is in the hospital fighting a pretty nasty infection. So before we get into it, we just want to say sending a prayer to him and his family. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery and gets back on the mat soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, man. Well, getting into it, man, congratulations. Big year for you. Kind of, major name at Nebraska this year. Obviously with a huge, huge win in the Big Ten finals against a very good Max Dean. But before we get into that, kind of just talk about where your career began. Who got you into wrestling, what age you were, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I was 6 years old and I was at this little diner in my hometown with my mom and my brother, and this woman approached us and she was like, "You got a couple good looking boys." And I'm six at the time, or I'm six, my brother's seven. And she said, "You got a couple good looking boys. You ever thought about getting them into wrestling?" And my mind goes WWE. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like John Cena. This is what's up. At that time, I just kind of just started watching it, thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I was like, yes, I'm wrestling. We're doing this. So I showed up to practice and I got smashed. I mean, it was so bad. But I was like, you know what? We'll see what happens. Went to the first meet tournament, and my brother, he went like 3-1, got second place. Everyone was cheering for him, so happy. I went 0-3. I got headlocked 3 times and stuck. It was
Had like
brutal.
three
I
times.
headlock 3 times, dude. Hip toss, headlock 3 times to my back, stuck. Was on the mat for maybe like 45 seconds total. It was awful. And I was like, I hate this. This is terrible. But then I was like, man, they're all cheering for my brother. I want to be cheered for. So I tried sticking with it a little bit, and I got better, improved. Then when I was in second grade, I won my first state title, an Indiana state title, and kind of was on and off to elementary school. And then once I hit middle school, I really bought into it and kind of took off.
Yeah, man. Obviously, like you said, starting is usually the rough part. The beginning
Right.
stages, there's always seems to be a kid or two that are a step above you. And
Hmm.
obviously now, to look back on that at a spot that you are in your career, I'm sure it's kind of funny to think like, oh, I got pinned 3 times in under a minute with a headlock hip toss. Like,
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I think when everyone started, they were pretty much like, "Oh, WWE, I'm in."
Right.
You
Right.
think you're
everybody
going
thought
to
they were
do some
gonna,
RKO's,
yeah,
be the
RKO to the
Undertaker out in
tables. Yeah,
practice.
man.
It's not really what happened.
Right.
No, man. But then I mean, obviously, touch on your high school career, man. Super successful high school career for yourself. And obviously you landed yourself in Nebraska.
Yeah. So my freshman year, it's kind of funny, how this year kind of relates to high school, because my freshman year I was undefeated, um, going into the semi-state of our state series. So Indiana is interesting where they only have one state. It's only one class. And you have a sectional, a regional, a semi-state, and then a state. Well, our semi-state set up to where there's no wrestlebacks. So if you lose that semi-state, you're done. You have to win your first 2 rounds and make it to the semifinals to make the state. They only take 4 guys. So I was in the quarterfinals, and second round wrestling this kid, and I took him down real quick, cut him, and ended up got him a shot, and he ended up sitting corner and cradling me, put my back, and I gave up, I guess a 5 point move in high school, and never came back. And it was just wrestling out of body, like just was lost. So I lost that match, didn't go to state, and it was heartbroken. I was ranked like fourth in the state, was all excited to make all this noise. Everyone was like hyping me up, and like this is going to be my moment, and fell short. And I feel like my season ended kind of similarly this year, unfortunately. But either way, yeah. So that happened in high school, and that was just like, I mean, the ultimate motivator, because 4 of my teammates ended up making it to state, which was the most our school had ever had. I came from a really small school. I had like 80 kids in my graduating class. So having, only being a one class state to where, only the best guys of the best guys get to go to state, sending 4 guys as a super tiny 1A school is a big deal. Um, so not being a part of that, like, it gutted me. And I sat up in the stands watching my teammates compete, just wanting that to be me. And man, that really motivated me. And I remember going into the off season just grinding. And then my sophomore year, I did decent. I placed fifth at state, made some noise nationally, and then I think it was my junior year. I went to Super 32 and got third there. I lost to Cardenas, who's not at Cornell. He A'd this year. He had a pretty good season. So yeah, I just really started making leaps and bounds after I took that loss of freshman year because that one really stung. And then I took a couple other losses. Only one other in high school, but then I took a couple other like nationally stuff. And man, whenever I'd lose, my dad always had this saying. He was like, a loss is a lesson, a chance to grow. And I just bought into that growth mindset, and I decided that I wanted to be great, and I wanted to really pursue it and buy into it, and just started making these huge leaps in my development. And my junior year, once I became eligible to be contacted by schools, had like 30 something schools contact me. Nebraska was one of them. When I was in eighth grade, my dad reached out to all these college coaches. I wasn't even good at wrestling yet, man. I was okay, but I did not warrant any college attention yet. And my dad was reaching out, to all these schools, and only two colleges reached back out, and one of them was Mark Manning saying, "All right, I'll keep an eye on Silas." And now for me to be here, I think it's just so cool. So yeah, my development happened pretty exponentially. My growth, I really took off, and I think. And these past 2 years, wrestling with Eric Schultz, Robert Kokish, this past year having Terrell in the room, man, I feel like I took off and became such a better wrestler, and I'm really excited for what these next few years are gonna look like.
Yeah, I think everybody is. I think everybody, you kind of caught everybody off guard a little bit at Big Tens. I think you really put your name on the mat. And I know you already, name drop a little bit. I'm sure having Travell in the room is gonna make everybody better. But talk about, having national finalists. I mean, Mikey Labriola, having someone like him in the room, and I know Pinto in the room, who he had a really great year this year as well. What's it like having guys like that? And I know Eric Schultz is still there. What's it like having those guys as practice partners?
I mean, we just have such a special room. It's like I don't know, man. I know that there's great schools and great colleges, but Nebraska just has something so special brewing. Like these next few years, I mean, it's gonna be great. Yeah, I mean, I get to wrestle with top tier guys. I have top tier practice partners, who make me better, who push me, and I feel like I do the same to them. And yeah, I mean, it's just a special environment that the coaches have cultivated and created, and it's I mean, we're all each other's biggest fans, and we're each other's biggest supporters, and we push each other, and we cheer each other on. When I won Big Tens, I had four of the teammates in the finals who were leaving there, with a goal unaccomplished, and they were just celebrating me. That's just the culture that Nebraska has. It's so special.
And I
Um,
think I
so
think a lot of
yeah,
people forgot. I think a lot of people forgot about Ridge Lovett still has college eligibility. Like he took a
right,
red shirt this
right,
year. Like Ridge the kid is coming back next season. And
absolutely.
if things really play out in Nebraska's hand, they have a really, really good chance of like definitely being a top three team in the country.
Absolutely. I mean, shoot, you got a guy like Ridge Lovett who's in the conversation for NCAA finalist or national champion. Peyton Rob's gonna be right back in the mix once he gets healthy. I have goals of being right there in the mix as well. Who knows how Lenny Pinto's going to develop over this next season? I mean, we have so many guys who are right there, plus a bunch of other young guys who are
Mm-hmm.
up and coming, who are going to be tough. Like our team is really special. And then obviously Brock Hardy coming back at 141. I mean, five guys who you're talking about, you know,
Have a shot at being a national finalist, if not national
yeah, I
champ.
mean, it's not some outlandish thought that we could have five guys wrestling for a national title next year, which is it's insane to think about. But
It's
I
not
mean,
though.
it's
Like
just
like you said, it is not an outlandish thought at all.
right.
That you look
Absolutely,
at it and it's Nebraska. Like it's five Nebraska guys and five Penn State guys. Like it's not that outlandish to
Yeah.
see at all.
no,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
having definitely that talent and that returning talent is going to be huge.
no, I'm excited, man. Like I'm already like, I mean, right after NCAA's, I was obviously upset in my feels a little, but I walked off. I was like, 365 days, we get to run it back. That's it, counting down, and it's going to be even more special next year. And as the years go by, I know I'm going to appreciate it more, and it's going to be, it's exciting stuff to think about for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I know you touched on, obviously your season wasn't everything you wanted it to be. But, talk a little bit about that Big Ten final match. And, I think a lot of people, after, they saw the video that Flo made about, you talking about your dad, a lot of people kind of thought, that was your dad was with you there in the Big Ten finals and kind of was able to push you and give you that extra leg of just to, be able to win.
Yeah, I went into that match and it was wild because I talked with Tervel about it afterwards. But man, it was the biggest stage of my career up to that point. I've wrestled in the finals for world teams and stuff, but like that was the biggest stage that I felt thus far, and I felt the nerves, I felt the anxiety. Even when I shook the hand for the match and wrestling started, I still felt those nerves and anxiety. But for some reason, and I think this goes back to how incredible of a room that we're in, those nerves, that anxiety, that stress, it didn't affect my wrestling at all. Like I was able to compartmentalize it and then allow just be able just to rely on my training, my technique, the things I work on the room every single day to perform in that match. I mean, I don't. There was never really a moment to where I felt like I could lose the match. I felt in it the whole time.
You
I
looked
felt
in
in
it the whole
control.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt in control. Like it was just like, and I think a lot of it was because I wasn't thinking about it. I was just doing what I do. I was wrestling how I practice. Practice how you want to perform, and I wrestle really hard. Guys really don't like drilling with me because I have a really hard pace and kind of a hard body with drilling and stuff. But it's just that's how I want to compete. So it's how I practice.
Yeah, I mean, and you have a huge support system behind you. I mean, not many people could say their wife is cheering them
Right.
on.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. She's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the first person I go to after every single match, win or loss, and we talk about it, and because it's interesting when you marry somebody, your journey becomes their journey. You guys share everything in life together. So yeah, she's a huge part of all my accomplishments, all my losses. She's right there with me to help me push through them and have the right mindset through it. And yeah, I mean, she's awesome, and then her family, who are my in-laws now, my family. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate to have an awesome support system who are always pushing me and making sure my mind's right.
Definitely. Definitely, man. And I mean, I don't think a lot of people really know, like, you're young. Like, I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people think that you're like a guy that was like in the background of the room and like you have 4 years of college left.
Yeah. So
Yeah, three or
it is.
four.
Yeah. Yeah. I have 3 years left, but yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I got asked so many times. It's so funny. I don't mean you talk about name dropping, but Lenny's mom, she is the sweetest woman ever. She's so nice.
Mhm.
But she went up to Jade and was like, my wife, Jade, and was like, man, I'm so sad Silas is going to be gone next year. And Jade just kind of looked at her and was like, Silas has 3 more years left. Him and Lenny are the same eligibility. And her jaw just dropped. She's like, what? Like even like my teammates' moms and teammates' family, like they don't realize that I still have 3 years
I think it's the
eligibility left.
beard. I think the beard really
And
throws
you're right.
everybody off.
You're right. I
It's
cut it
definitely
off.
the beard or the wife.
Right. I mean, I cut it off and ran just with the mustache for a little while, but I
The
don't think it
mustache
worked.
was sick. Can't lie, it looked tough. It did look
I'm gonna.
tough.
It did, it
It's
did.
sure coming back. Yeah, it's for sure gonna come back. It just some days I just don't feel like shaving my face. Really, it's because my wife complains about cleaning up the bathroom after I do it because it's just so much hair. But
No, man, definitely. I think, and I think Nebraska was definitely on a ton of people's list this year. I think there was not one media page that I, know or that, we've worked with in the past or we're kind of close friends with that didn't have Nebraska as a dark horse. We knew
yeah,
going into nationals that there was a chance that if everything went right, I mean, you have Cronin at 25, who is an
yeah,
absolute stud. Then you got Hardy, Rob, yourself, Pinto, like Labriola, like if the cards really went right this year, you all could have been in the national finals. Like,
yeah, 100%. I mean,
and I mean,
100%.
obviously, 97 was a loaded bracket this year, and I don't think a lot of people noticed that beforehand, like how good some of those guys were at 97. Because it
Yeah,
was it was a lot of wins and losses to everybody. Like there was really no like other than Nino who was undefeated, there really wasn't a true like number two.
yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I forget who told me the exact stat, and I know, and this is kind of an approximation, but
Mhm.
I think it's been like in like the past like 13 years, I was the lowest seeded Big Ten champion
Mm-hmm.
that there's been. Like being seeded eighth as a Big Ten champ, like that hasn't happened in I guess it's been a super long time. Someone told me at least it's been at least a decade. So that's
That's
crazy.
awesome. That's awesome though. And I
Yeah,
think
and
I think, we did an interview with Ridge Lovett. I want to say at this point it might be 2 years ago, a year to 2 years
yeah,
ago. And he mentioned the name Silas Allred. He had mentioned just about you and your wrestling ability, and you were kind of a little crazy, like that.
yeah.
I think you were on his list. We asked a question at the end of the podcast of people you would want to bring into the zombie apocalypse with you, and I want to say that you were on Ridge Lovett's list of people he would want to bring in, and I think it was because like
That's
he was
awesome.
like he's big and he's crazy and he's a great wrestler.
That's funny because I kind of got that rap my freshman year because I first came in the room and I was getting smashed, right? Like Venz and Schultz, I mean, those are the guys I wrestled with. They were just putting it on me. Like it wasn't close. I had no idea what I was doing. But I kind of felt comfortable upper body. And the first live match that me and Eric ever wrestled, I went double overs and put him on his head and tossed him. And everyone was kind of watching it because we had 3 matches going on, simulation matches, and everyone was like, "What? Who is this kid?" And then like 2 weeks before that, we were still, or I guess probably 2 months before that, we were still training freestyle. I was wrestling with Robert Kokish, and I mean, you don't do this to your coach, but I freaking suplexed him like hard, like
That's awesome.
so hard he need himself in the face, like hard.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and he was like, he kind of got up and was kind of like stunned. And the trainer walks up to me, Weeda, awesome guy, probably best trainer in college. He's like, hey, maybe next time don't do that. And I was like, yeah, you got it. So I think like those two things combined kind of got the rep. Like, man, this guy's kind of wild. He kind of sends it, but he's decent at wrestling. Like, I'd break him with me as zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I could see that.
Definitely.
I
And
mean,
I
being that big, strong, crazy guy and also having that opportunity for huge moves makes you extremely dangerous.
Right. Yeah. But now I've kind of honed in and I don't really send it anymore. We
No,
should get
man.
back to that.
I definitely think I was gonna say I think we need to see some freestyle or Greco type throws out of you. I think it would be exciting to see some 97 pounders get launched.
That'd be sick. I mean, it's a season now. It's a
Yeah.
chance to start bringing it back. I mean, I've been training freestyle this past week. I took a week off and then on Monday got back into it and been wrestling freestyle and I'm
Is that the
excited for that. It's
plan?
gonna be
Is that the plan? You're gonna
oh,
go for a world team?
absolutely. Yeah,
Or are you
definitely.
gonna do so? Or what do you? Because I know obviously like, you're really young. So do you plan on doing U23? Or are you going just straight up to the big dogs?
I'm gonna try to make a U23 team, but I'm
Because
thinking
who's at
it's
your weight at U23?
I'm not sure. I think Cardenas was the guy last year at 92 kilos at U23. I don't know if he's back or not. I don't know how old he is. I'm assuming he's back.
I think.
So it'll
And
probably
then
be
I
Cardenas
know
the
I
main
think the
guy.
guy from U20s is that Jackson Smith from Maryland. I think he's
Yeah,
at
he
Mhm.
started wrestling
92.
in the finals last year. Yeah, he beat me in the finals to make the U20 team. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I'll be going for the U23 team, and I think Smith. Yeah, I think Smith will be back too for U23. So those two guys will probably be the other top two guys there. And then
But hey,
I
Silas
might
Allred's making it, man. He's
Yeah, I'm
contending.
hungry. I want it.
He's
I want
hungry,
it. But
man.
I might head out to senior nationals though in a few weeks just to get some mat time, scrap a little bit, wrestle some good guys, just kind of see where I'm at. No, I can't lose anything doing it, right? Just
Yeah,
go get
no,
some.
that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. If you
Yeah,
plan, like if your plan is to make a U23 team and you go out to seniors just to get some warm up and get some good matches going, there's no foul in that.
absolutely
Yeah,
right.
get some big moves flowing, tossing
Yeah,
people left
Oh,
and
some big
right.
throws.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I'm excited. I wanna get some matches, and I think it's a good thing. Competing, wrestling high level guys like I mean, I'm excited for it. Yeah, I mean, you and my coach have been talking about it, and if it makes sense, we'll do it. I mean, the only bad thing that could happen is like an injury or something. God forbid, knock on wood. But I'm not worried about that. I mean, I got through the season pretty unscathed.
I
So
was gonna say you seem like you're pretty good shape after wrestling the full Big Ten season.
yeah, it was a grind. Definitely achy and body's hurting, and you get those wrestlers' knees to where things click and pop and whatnot. But all things considered, I feel great. Yeah, I mean, already back training, thinking about freestyle, like not out. So I think
Yeah, you
I made
seem you
it well.
seem like your mental's right, your head's in the right space, and you're just ready.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, we touched a little bit about, earlier about the coaching staff, but Mark Manning, obviously is known as one of those guys that is just an incredible coach. He becomes a father figure to a lot of you guys out there in
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska. Rather it be, obviously, people have some issues with their parents, or, it's just that you're so far away from home, when you're wrestling in college. So what's that kind of like, having a guy like that really takes you guys under the wing, under, his wing? Whenever you see, the videos that Nebraska makes, it's always Mark Manning messing around with somebody. I know this past game
Right.
was messing around with Pinto, or messing around with,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of
Mhm.
you guys. So what's it like having a coach that, really is putting a good effect on your guys' future?
When you're around people who genuinely care about you and want what's best for you, it makes it so easy to trust the things they say. And that's what makes our staff so special is you know, yes, Manning's incredible, and he's cultivated, and he's brought on a really great staff who all follow that same dynamic, and it's really like it's about family. Snyder, Kokish, Tervel, Manning, even through our, John Pfeiffer, our weights guy who travels with us all the time, and Wida, who's our trainer. Like every single one of those guys, we know they genuinely care about us and love us and want what's best for us. So when they tell us to do something, we don't question it. We just do it, and we trust them, and we believe in the things that they say. And because we have that, relationship, it shows in our team and in our performance. Like, I mean, we hit on it a little while ago. We talked about going to the season. By the end of it, we were a dark horse, but at the beginning of the season, there was question marks like, man, what's Nebraska going to look like? All this stuff. And I remember before, Cliff Keen, when we won Cliff Keen as a team, we kind of like was like, hey, we're here. Like Nebraska's here. Like before that tournament, Manning's like, we've done all the work. Like you guys are made for this. And he was telling us how much he believes in us and how great we are, and just calling the greatness out of us, and got all of us fired up, and went out there and we performed. And it's just because we believe in him. Like if he tells us that we can be great, and our staff's telling us we can be great, why can't we? And that's the relationship that Manning has been able to build as a head coach, and he's brought these other coaches along, and they're all, I mean, they're all in it. They all they push that same mindset that we can be great, and we train to be great. And if you believe it, then the sky's the limit.
Definitely. Definitely, man. And I mean, there's no better guy than having Tervel, being an upper weight, having a guy like that to wrestle with every day. I mean, I'm sure you can only get better. You really can.
Yeah, you get better and you get humbled.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure the humbling was in the beginning. I'm sure you got humbled quite a bit.
yeah, and even still now, I mean, I would put Tervel up against any of the heavyweights right now in our country in a 6 minute go. Like his body is not what it used to be, but he takes care of himself. He trains hard, and when he's having a good day, and he's not hurting too bad like that, the dude freaking scraps still. Like we wrestled today, and we did live, and I grabbed Tervel, and me and him wrestled full practice together. And we did, a 6 minute live going freestyle, and I got smashed, dude. Like straight up just got smashed. And it's, I mean, I just come to like, know that I'm pretty freaking good, but Tervel is one of the best in the world. And I think he still is one of the best in the world. It's just his body doesn't let him compete the way that he used to be able to compete, but the dude still has it. I mean, he still has it for 1 or 2 days a week. Maybe he might not get through a full wrestling tournament, but
But those
he's
first couple matches, he'd give him hell.
he
Oh
is
yeah.
he's so good. I mean, it's crazy. He's so good.
Yeah, and I think we see that a lot, as we get older, us younger guys and our younger generation, we're gonna start seeing a lot of the guys we grew up watching kind of start slowing down a little bit, and maybe not competing as much, and kind of just
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the big deal tournaments like the world team trials and the Olympic trials, stuff like that.
Right, right, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
man. But
wrestling's always evolving too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Eventually I was telling this, to we were doing an interview earlier this morning, and I was saying like the world will stop for a second when JB unlaces his shoes and puts them on the mat. When Jordan Burroughs wrestles that last time, I know obviously he was a Nebraska guy, in college. When he unlaces those shoes, the world will stop for a second and be like,
Yeah.
wow, like this is, Jordan Burroughs he was wrestling for a lot of us younger generation people.
No, 100%. And I've been fortunate enough to kind of build a relationship with him and his family. They're
Wonderful
all
people.
yeah,
Wonderful people, him and his
great
wife.
great people. Yeah, we'll talk with them and stuff. And like at NCAA's, we got together with them, Jade and I and her family. We all got together and ate together and stuff, and we're kind of talking. But I mean, what Jordan's done through his career, it's been so much more than just win championships. Like he's changed the face of USA wrestling. Like you got to think like when he first started wrestling, like I mean, we as a team we were decent, but we weren't competing for world championships. We didn't have that caliber of guys yet. And then over the course of his career, you've watched, you know, USA Wrestling become a powerhouse in the world, and it's been incredible to watch. And it's hard not to give him so much of that credit because I mean he was inspiring guys. He was showing them that right out of college you can compete for world championships and win them. Like
And I
it's just a
think
talent.
I think he's also provided a lot of outlets and kind of paved the way to be like, yes, now here's this company you could reach out to, and this company you could reach out to, and this company you could reach out to, so that money doesn't become an issue either, and that you're able to extend your wrestling career. Because I think growing up, people of our age, in like their early 20s at least, all we heard when we were younger was you can't wrestle forever.
Yeah.
Wrestling's not a job. Wrestling doesn't pay
Yeah.
you. But Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Dake, David Taylor, those guys have kind of shown that if you really try and put your mind to it and you're really good, wrestling can be your job.
Yeah. They broke
No,
that
no.
stereotype.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely, definitely yeah. Yeah. And so jealous. My in-laws, they're all on a cruise right.
I think we're back.
There we go.
I think we're good. I think we're back, maybe.
But
This is bad.
We're back. There we go.
Yeah, I think we're back. I think we're good. I think we're good. We should be good now. I think it
Sweet,
should. We should be
all
good
right.
still. Yeah, still recording. We're still recording. We're back. We're good. We're good. Hopefully, we'll just have to like do a little bit of cleanup on the video, but we should be okay. We should be good to go. Hopefully,
Sweet,
hopefully,
sweet, sweet.
hopefully. But yeah. I mean, we'll just hop right into some questions that we have prepared for you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Some wrestling, some not wrestling, some food related, some not food
Okay.
related. Just some fun stuff,
All
kind of
right.
let the fans get to know you a little bit better than just as Silas Allred, the 197 pounder from Nebraska. So I'll let Matthew
All
go
right.
ahead and take the reins here, and we'll kind of go back and forth.
Yeah. So besides wrestling, like who's Silas Allred? What do you like to do for fun?
Man, I've really gotten into golfing. I love golfing. I'm such an
Golf.
old man. But I golf. I love fishing. My dad used to fish all the time. We used to golf too. So I golf. I fish. I have an awesome dog named Bluey who's around here somewhere sleeping. I play with him, take him on walks, take him to the park. Spend time with my wife, hang out with my teammates. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, when you're a college athlete, like it's school, it's wrestling, and then when the free time you do get, it's like find something to do. So yeah. But other than
Yeah.
that, yeah, I love golfing. It's so relaxing. Not great, but I still love it. And yeah, fishing too. I think being on the water, getting the line wet, just relaxing. It's great.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well.
Definitely. Being a college athlete is no joke, and I mean, especially being a D1 wrestler in a Big Ten conference. I'm sure a lot of people say that's the peak. That's the peak.
Takes
Peak
up more
wrestling.
time than you'd think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I guess I'll take a go here. Obviously you've had a very long, extensive wrestling career. Your favorite wrestling shoe that you have ever worn?
Oh my gosh. Favorite shoe I've ever worn. Man, Nike Freaks, or I have a wide foot, so those were always my favorite. They were the most comfortable to me, but that's like comfort. If you're talking like memory standpoint, my like the biggest like moment that I ever had from wrestling and wearing shoes, I was wearing, I don't even know what they were, like JB Elites. They were like the black and red ones.
Uh-huh.
And I went out to USA Nationals and I lost my first match and then just freaking grinded, wrestled all the way back and wrestled it, ended up getting a true second. Just was a monster on the back. So I got true second. And that tournament was when I was like, decided like, yeah, I'm gonna wrestle. This is what I want to do, and completely bought into it. And I think the wearing the JB Elites for that, I think that was pretty sick. So JB Elites, like they have a special place in my heart just from that tournament. I don't really wear them, but Nike Freaks are for sure the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. So
Definitely. We haven't really
We've
heard a lot of Freaks comments. We've got a lot of inflexes, a lot of stuff like that. JB Elites, we've heard JB Elites, but I think Freaks are
combat
underrated.
speeds.
I also have a wide foot. I wrestled heavyweight, so Freaks were dope.
yeah,
And they were stylish too. They
right,
looked
yeah,
cool,
no, for sure, yeah.
especially
I
because
did.
that was Penn State's like shoe at the time. Was they were wearing the navy blue Freaks.
That's true. I remember. I forget who wore them. I think it was a Penn State guy was wearing them. It was the ones that were like blue with like the neon yellow on them too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I had those my senior year of high school. I had those and then a white and gold pair also. But those are my shoes. I thought I felt sweet in them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And of course, we are a heavyweight nation. We like our food. So we're going to get into some food questions. I know
Let's
you're in
do it.
Nebraska. What around Nebraska? Like, what's the go-to spot?
The go-to spot. There's oh man, a place called the Oven. It has Indian food. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I didn't even think I liked Indian food until I went there, and I was like, dang, this stuff is gas. A place downtown called Lead Bellies that I'll go to every now and then. It has this Philly cheesesteak that I really like. Um, those are probably my two go tos. If I'm not like going to like a steak dinner in Omaha, Omaha has nice steakhouses, so I go there and get a steak every now and then to spoil myself. So those are the ones though. Those are the ones.
Definitely some good choice in there.
And here's my question: what is so special about Nebraska corn? What makes Nebraska corn such a crazy thing that you are the corn huskers?
Dude,
Like
I couldn't tell you. I don't think I've even had corn since I've been in Nebraska. Is that a crime? I
I
don't think
feel,
I've
I
had
think it
I
corn
might
feel
once.
like
be.
I feel like somebody might just show up to where you live right now with corn. One of the alumni or something's gonna be like Silas has never had Nebraska
Yeah,
corn.
you gotta have it. I don't, dude. I've corn on the cob. Can't. No, I don't think I've had corn since I've been out here. Honestly, I don't. I don't eat
Crazy.
corn. Maybe like a corn tortilla or something. I don't know, but
Some
I don't
popcorn.
know, man. I don't know what's up with the Nebraska corn. You can't. You're not gonna be able to get a good answer out of me from that one. But I don't know. There's something about
A lot
it
of
that keeps
farmland
these.
around you, huh? There's a
Oh
lot of
man,
farm, a lot
yeah, a
of
lot of
agriculture.
farmland. It's all flat. The wind's always blowing because it's so flat, but it works.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, obviously, walk us through a day in the life of Silas Allred during the season. What is a day in your life during wrestling season like?
A day in my life. I'll wake up in the morning, go to practice at 8:30. I wake up about 7:30, get ready, leave my house at 8, get to practice at 8:20, get ready, practice at 8:30 for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Class from 10:30 to 11:20. I go get lunch from our facilities. Class again. I sometimes have a lift right after my second class, so I'll go get a lift in. Occasionally, I have a third class, and then I get home at like 6. If I don't have a third class, then I'll come home after the lift. But that's it. And then in between, trying to find time to do homework. Hopefully, not late at night. I like being done with the thing by about 8 o'clock. But long days, yeah, very very long
Yeah.
day.
Packed
Um,
schedule, man.
yeah, no, for sure. My my Tuesdays is really my open day right now. For I don't have many classes, but Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is packed. It's packed. It's full days for sure.
And you got another, what, 3 years of that. So
I do. I do. Man,
I know
I
it's
love it.
I know it's a long time away, but what are your plans for after college and like what is your degree in?
So I'm pre-med, pre-dental. That's my degree. So I didn't pick
Wow,
an easy one.
wow,
Yeah.
wow!
Yeah.
Not an
That's
easy
hard.
one at all. Oh
No,
man.
no, yeah. I'm in organic chemistry 2 right now. It's kicking my butt. It's so hard. But but yeah, post college, I been fortunate enough to get some of my schooling paid for, which is great. So I was like, might as well pursue something difficult, and make it worth it. So yeah, I went pre-med pre-dentistry, um, and the goal with that is, if I end up going the dentistry route, which is what I'm leaning towards, would be to open a practice and maybe hire dentists to work there, open other practices, because I'm kind of business minded to where I don't want to be working my entire life. I want to set up multiple streams of income, all that kind of stuff. I've been looking into capitalizing on NIL, not just for myself, for other people, and building something to make NIL more useful, because the market for it is it's wide open. It's so new. So I couldn't give you an exact thing. I want to wrestle as long as I can. So until my body gives out and until it doesn't make sense to compete anymore, I'll be competing. But yeah, the future's kind of unknown. I'm just going to kind of stick with it and grind it out, and wherever God leads me, that's where I'm heading. So
Yeah.
If I'm at the dentist and I look up and I see you and you're my dentist, I am never getting a cavity. In fear of getting just tossed through the dentist chair.
Oh my gosh, right? I'd be sick. I'd be so sick.
Yeah, man. One final question for you before we ask the age-old question that we ask everybody. In your opinion, it is very different, not in a bad or a good way, that you're married. So how
Right.
do you think you being, married in college, how do you think that differs from like an average college student?
Man, I think it makes me more focused, honestly. Like I think there's so much less distraction and less noise. And knowing what you're coming home to, and it also it gives you perspective, because the things in life that don't matter when you're married, they really don't matter. So it gives me perspective. It keeps me, my head on straight, keeps me in line, keeps, all my I's dotted and my T's crossed. And man, it just makes me a better man. And by being a better man, it makes me a better, you know, wrestler and better student, and just a better person all the way around. I it's not for the faint-hearted though. It's hard work. Being a husband is the hardest thing that you'll ever do. But when you find somebody who makes you a better man and pushes you and wants to help you in all their ways they can achieve your goals, like, man, you better hold on to it. So
Yeah, having
that's what
that
I found.
structure.
Yeah, that's what I found, and I found it young, and it's definitely not the path for everybody, but for me it was the right path, and I think it is for sure the right decision, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't do it any
man.
other way. So
Shout out Jade, man. Shout out
yeah,
Jade.
shout out
I'm
Jade.
sure she'll be watching this. Shout out to Jade. Your wins become her wins and your losses become her losses, So,
Yeah,
she's stressing out just as much as you are, I'm sure, during your matches.
more,
More.
more.
So shout out to all the wrestling moms out there too. I think
Absolutely.
a lot of people kind of poked fun at Spencer Lee's mom. I mean, obviously, what happened to her was it's what any mom's reaction would be.
Heartbreak. Yeah,
A lot of people don't realize the heartbreak, that she
yeah,
was going through. That's her baby. And I'm sure
absolutely.
your mom and your wife would be in a similar situation if you were a three-time national champ going for your fourth and you lose, and you take a
Yeah,
fall.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yeah, but
shout out to all the wrestling moms. I know my mom has shed some tears. I know.
oh yeah,
I think all the moms have,
Absolutely.
screamed and shed a couple of tears throughout your career, and I mean I'm sure they will continue to, shout out to all the support systems out there. I
yeah.
feel
For
like,
sure.
they
Happy
don't get
wife,
enough.
happy life.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's true.
They don't get enough love. They don't get enough love by
No,
the wrestling media.
I
But
agree. I agree.
final question. 140 episodes in. We've asked this to every single guest. You could take 3 of your Nebraska Cornhusker teammates with you into the zombie apocalypse. Who would they be and why?
Number one, no one knows who this is probably. His name's Brandon Van Tassel. He is one of the best humans I've ever met. So I know he'd never, stab me in the back. I could trust him. He has a lot of guns, knows hunting. He's from Utah, does it right. Um, and just a great guy. So Brandon Van Tassel, definitely bringing him with me. He's also built like a tank. Um, Number two would be Alex Thompson, because he is from Iowa. He does a lot of hunting also, and another good guy who I could trust. And he's smaller, so he wouldn't eat as much food. And the other guy, oh, this is a tough one. a Nebraska Cornhusker who I'd bring with me. Who could start a fire? Who could start a fire? Lenny Pinto. He'd start a fire on accident. I'd bring him with me. Yeah. He'd figure out a way to start a fire. Yeah, he'd start it on accident. And then he'd not know how he did it, but it'd be done. And everyone would be happy about it. So Lenny Pinto, I'd bring him too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
man,
are my three.
Pinto's a hometown boy from where we go to school. So
he's from around here.
Yeah, he's
Stroudsburg?
from Stroudsburg.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we both go to college and wrestle. And
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So he's a hometown boy. He's friends with a lot of guys that are from here that stuck around and wrestle here. So I know he's a good dude. I met his dad a couple times. His dad, Papa Pinto's a good dude.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Definitely, man. And then one final question. Say something to the kids out there, to the kids that look up to Silas Allred, to the kids that want to be a Nebraska Cornhusker one day. Say something, to them to motivate or, kind of just put them on the right path.
Yeah, absolutely. In life, there's going to be a lot of things that you can't control. And I think if you want to learn how to deal with those things and to figure those things out, man, stay on the mat, keep wrestling, because it teaches you so much about how to handle uncertainty, how to handle anxiety, nerves, stress. And those are things that very rarely you can learn in a safe environment, and wrestling is that safe environment for you. So yeah, I mean, stick with it, buy into it, believe that what you're doing is best for you, and give it all you've got because you're never going to regret it. No one looks back at the end of the day and thinks, man, I should have trained less, or man, I shouldn't have done as much. They always think, man, I could have done more. So give it your all while you can. And man, just if you believe, if you're a believer, then, just trust God through the process, and man, everything will work out. So stick with it, grind, and be great.
Man, well wise words from Silas Allred, man. Absolutely amazing. And we wish you the best of luck. It was an honor to, watch this year for you and, see you win that Big Ten title. I think was probably one of the best experiences. We saw the whole tournament, and, we look forward to promoting you, promoting the Cornhuskers, this next year. So, we're excited, man. We're excited for your future. We're excited for your whole team's future.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. Yeah, it was a blast. Heavyweight Nation. Shout out.
Another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.